Hey, welcome into the Week 14 edition of the Rat Pack Fantasy Football Sit Star Show. It is me and Jeremy Schulman. Aaron St. Dennis is somewhere in the cloud right now. We're trying to get him connected, but we do not have him at the moment. But yeah, he'll be dropping in as he's having some internet issues. So, how you doing, Jeremy?
Yeah, good man. Aaron's a virtual ghost, so he's just floating in and out when he can. But yeah, for me, just trying to set these lineups and figure out how the heck to move on to the playoffs. Some really tough decisions this week with win and you're in squads, but it's a wild week as always. You can't rely on Austin Eckler somehow.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, we're firing up Keaton Mitchell. I don't know what the heck we're doing here, but thus is fantasy football, right?
It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Hi. And yeah, my daughter just woke up, so fun. Hey, you okay?
Ask her what's going on with Gino, Jesse.
All right. So you're gonna start Gino or are you gonna start Drew Lock? She said phone. She's like, I'm doing phone. Yeah. So yeah. So back to our fun stuff with that. Interesting enough, Brady Henderson who covers the Seattle Seahawks, he's saying that they're going to lean heavily on the ground game against the 49ers if Gino Lock does not, or sorry, if Drew Lock ends up being the starting quarterback. And that sounds like an absolute disaster to me. So I'm not looking forward to that personally. Yeah, I think where would you have these guys ranked? Like your Walker and Charbonnet if you are playing them this week.
It's so tough, right? Like I'm not even sure about the health of these guys. You have to, and I think we were discussing this earlier. You have to rank Walker over Charbonnet, assuming they're equally healthy at this point, right? If you're firing them both up, you have to assume they're equally healthy. I would imagine it's probably a split anyway. But against the Niners, who are going to swallow those guys up, I don't know that it totally matters, especially if Drew Lock's not in there. Man, it's going to be a rough day. They might be better off just kind of taking the mulligan on this game, right? Just kind of giving the ball to DJ Dallas 20 times and just like letting everybody get healthy for next week and try and make their playoff push. Then I don't know, man. It's ugly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a CMC day if I've ever seen one, folks. It's like, hey, guess what? Let's just give it to the best fantasy asset in the world. I'm gonna pull up this question from earlier.
Hang on. Can I stick with a question from me actually on Gino? Unless you go to Gino. So this is my dilemma, right? It's a good squad. It's a really good squad actually, but it's like one of those weird early game, late game issues, right? So I got Gino. We won't know for a couple hours yet if he's actually going to play or if he'll be inactive or active but on the sidelines. Who knows? But my best option is if Gino sits, then I got Jerry Jeudy going late, right? Or Lockett, who you don't want to play if Gino sits, right? My good options here, I can plug in. Now it's just PPR, it's not TEP, but I can plug in Komet. I can plug in Hubbard, or even McKinnon. McKinnon, I guess, is a decent late game option, but I prefer Hubbard probably, or even Komet. But like, what would you do? Would you plug in probably Hubbard, and just get those safe floor points now? Or would you wait and plug in a McKinnon or Jeudy if Gino sits?
So like I have them pretty clearly defined. Judy's like the guy I really just don't want to play. Judy scares the crap out of me, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
I really just want to fade Judy. It just has not been a good year for him. But like I was talking about this earlier with McKinnon and CEH. The way it lines up for McKinnon's really good. Where if you want to shoot the ceiling shot, like I'm fine going chasing him. Yeah. Otherwise, like Hubbard, like you're talking about, just gives you the safe floor, so you could go that. It's just it's rough. Like you, especially it really depends on the situation, right? Like how many points you need. So you could, string it out a little bit since Judy's playing later game, and then McKinnon's playing like the 125 game as well too. So you can kind of decide then. But yeah, like I'd probably just stick Hubbard in there and just take the safety.
That's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I totally agree with that. I'm projected to win by a lot, but this guy's got Dak and Fields, who should smash this week, and I think they're going to crush projections. And he's got a lot of boom bust guys, so you never can be too careful. And it would be great to not lose to a team my first place team not to lose to a team who's not going to make the playoffs. So
right, exactly. Going in on a high note, right? Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, so I'd see how your point situation goes out, like in this game. Well, Hubbard's a 10 o'clock game, isn't it? Yeah, these are early games, so
yeah,
you probably have to
that's
make
the
that
problem.
decision. Yeah, so you can't really decide. But if you're worried about points, just shoot for the ceiling with McKinnon if you want to chase it. Because like I have a hard time imagining Hubbard's ceiling in this game. As weird as it sounds, like he's a lot more comfortable to play, but like it's that New Orleans defense, and they're still really good against running backs just in general. Like on the ground, they give up passing a little bit more, but on the ground, they're pretty stingy against them. So it could be an inefficient game for Hubbard. So like the volume's there for sure, we know that, but like I don't know how efficient it's going to be.
Yeah, and here's my last option with that. I can plug in Komet and then hold off on Kincaid and plug in Kincaid if Geno sits. But I already have that Josh Allen stack, so I'm trying to do that. But anyway, that's too much time on my squad. But yeah, these are the dilemmas we face in week 14.
Right, I know there's so much going on with everybody trying to make the playoffs, or you're trying to lock up a bye, or maybe you're playing spoiler or whatever it is. Right, you got something on line this week, so I have quite a few teams where I'm chasing that. I'm gonna pull this question up and Cuddle can check this one up. So this one's a real complicated question because it's like the same guys basically in their wide receiver, or they're gonna pivot and put them in the flex spot. But for like the wide receiver 2 spot, they're choosing between Nico Collins, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, and Elijah Moore. And then for the flex, it's those guys with CEH added on top. So I would curious, who were you playing of those players between the wide receiver 2, and then who are you flexing?
Well, I'm going to double check on Nico. I mean, I don't care, right? Like, I know that that Tank is out. I know that Noah Brown is not Tank Dell. I know that Schultz is out and Brevin Jordan is not Schultz. But I really don't care. I don't think you could sit Nico after what happened last week. I mean, we all know that Sauce is gonna cover him like a hamburger. He's gonna get all over that man. But, Nico's gonna have sauce all over him like he's at a barbecue. That's a better way to put it. But the problem is there's nobody else there, right? And Stroud is looking great. So I'm firing up Nico regardless. You don't expect a massive game like he had last week, but you could look, it's going to be a great matchup between those two, I think. So I'm firing him up. And then you pick your poison. I think it's actually a decent spot for Drake London this week, but you just can't rely on him. I would go Wilson over him. And Elijah Moore is interesting with Flacco, but I'm not trusting that to be sustainable. So for me, I'm probably going Nico Wilson here.
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
That's where I'm leaning on this too. If you do need a ceiling play, because like we kind of know basically what Garrett Wilson is in that offense, like he really doesn't hit ceilings. He just gives you a nice floor play. Like I was fine telling the person in the comments, I was like, hey, if you really want to chase the ceiling, like you can go McKinnon because Drake London's a lot of the same. And Elijah Moore with Amari Cooper supposedly playing and healthy. Like I think that hampers him a little bit. If Cooper was out, I'd be more bullish on Elijah Moore. Just because we saw Flacco and they basically led the league in intended air yards last week. Like and Flacco had the most intended air yards. Elijah Moore, which is baffling, he had the most intended air yards since his ADOT's been like negative the entire year. So at least they're trying to unlock him. I appreciate it. So there might be something to Elijah Moore like down the stretch of the playoffs. So it'll be fun. But yeah, I was like just go with the safety of Garrett Wilson, and then if you really want to shoot the shot, McKinnon or CEH.
I get the question, right? Because Nico and Wilson, you're talking about Sauce and Stingley, right? So those are horrible matchups for those guys, even though they're elite. But then you look at, Drake and Elijah Moore going against Jacksonville, Drake London against Tampa, who's just still decimated by injury and not good against the pass to begin with. So it's a fair question, but in this particular matchup, I'm just going to start my studs and cross my fingers and hope for, a big Jamar Chase type blow up game out of nowhere like he did last week, because the talent is there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like even with the way that they play in the NFL today, like it's really rare for a guy to follow a guy across the field, kind of like we're talking about with Sauce. Like most times they'll pick a situation on the field, like they'll be on the left side or they'll be on the right side, and they'll go there. So like the one-on-one matchups are not super as important as they were like 15, 20 years ago, where you would have, someone like Champ Bailey or whatever. They're going to really like trail that person all across the field. We don't see it much anymore. I think the Seahawks kind of really kicked that off a little bit with Sherman, where he would just play on one side and they would have, Maxwell or the other guy on the other side of the field. But I'm going to pull this up actually really quick. So who are you starting between Chuba Hubbard, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Keaton Mitchell? And I think those are three interesting plays because they offer a wide range of outcomes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at my rankings really quick. Let me see.
I think while you look that up, I think CEH for me is the guy I'm not playing between these three. I understand the thought process, but the Bills are going to be the Bills. You never know how much McKinnon's going to be involved, as I know you're going to talk about in a minute. And Chuba against New Orleans. New Orleans isn't as scary as they appear, and Chuba's just getting a crap ton of the work. But that Keaton Mitchell can go off. So I'm probably going safety. If I need safety, I'm going Chuba. If I need crazy upside, I'm going Mitchell.
Yeah, if you really want to fire that ceiling play, like I like Mitchell, he's earning more role in that offense, so he's kind of taking away from Gus Bus. But yeah, like the safety with Chuba in this matchup is far outweighs the other two. So like if we want to play the volume, which is the most important thing for fantasy running backs, like we're just gonna chase Chuba here. You want to go for Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a matchup against Buffalo, who's given up the third most. They have the third worst yards per carry given up. Like they're getting gashed on the ground. So if you really want to chase the rushing volume with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you go that. They also given up the seventh most targets, like the sixth most receptions to running backs, but that's even more of a McKinnon thing. So I think it's kind of going to split down the middle. So yeah, I would go Chuba, then I'd go Keaton, and I know they talk about CH being the RB1. We just don't know how much what that workload's going to look like. If we look at last year, it was very much splitting work between Pacheco and McKinnon down the stretch where CH was out. So now they just flipped, they put CH in. So yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick note on Chuba, the last 2 weeks, 19 and 25 touches. So he's getting the volume. I think there's still this misconception that Chuba's not getting the volume. He's getting the volume. So, don't be afraid to fire him up. He's got a nice floor.
Yep, I'm with you on that. We're gonna take Chuba on that one. All right. So this is actually an interesting one. And for me, it's pretty clearly between these three. Like it's Puka, Amari, or Rice. I'm going to have them Puka, Rice, Amari. And Puka's his target share. Everything is there. And I will continue to chase that. Like Rashi Rice has been really good. He's been efficient and he's finally stepping into a bigger role. But for me, it's Puka. And just Amari, like you're dealing with concussion. I don't he should be healthy. He should be good. It's just, I don't know how his usage is going to be. So for me, it's Puka's the number one. It's Puka going to be your top choice. You're going to play with the other guys.
Yeah, I agree with you with that order. Puka, Rice, Amari. I think Rice is really intriguing play for me just because he's ascending. He's getting the looks. They really don't have anybody else there who's demanding targets the way he is. And they're manufacturing, which is amazing to see. Manufacturing touches for him. A lot of bubble screens and stuff for him with blocking out in front, as creative as they can be. So I agree with you. It's Puka, but I wouldn't be angry with you if you started Rice.
No, yeah, they're all within 10 spots in my rankings if I'm looking at my flex rankings. So they're all pretty close. It's just I'm going to chase the guy who's been the consistent targeter the entire year. It's kind of where I'm looking at it.
That's fair.
But I really don't think there's a bad answer. Like if you wanted to flex one of these guys, if you're playing Puka and you wanted to flex somebody or Rashi, go for it. I think they all have good options in good ceiling games. All right, so we got a question here from Boss Man.
Morning.
Pick one for flex, and who do I start? So they have Devonta Smith, Jerome Ford, Devin Singletary, DeAndre Hopkins, and Calvin Ridley. Who are you playing for the flex between these guys?
Man, that's kind of ugly. I love myself some Devonta Smith. The issue, as we all know, is Dallas Goedert is back, and when Goedert is back, it lowers the ceiling for him tremendously. I heard somebody on a podcast. I wish I could remember it. It was probably a Matt Waldman or Nathan Yonke talking about the reason that DVS is lower, has kind of a lower ceiling in those games with Goedert back is because of the fact that Goedert takes away the double teams on Brown. And so Brown gets fed because he's less covered. So I thought that was interesting. It's not necessarily that Smith is playing poorly. It's that Brown is less doubled. But I'm still firing him up here. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, I really want to trust, but you just can't with Will Levis for me. Hopkins last week was so pissed at Levis, right? Just for kind of missing him consistently. And even though Trevor Lawrence is going to play, I'm not playing Calvin Ridley. I love me some Calvin Ridley. I just can't. So for me here, it's probably DVS, and then maybe Ford, maybe, but I'm going to go with Smith.
Yeah, and as much as I like Singletary going into like the last few weeks, we saw them shift how that backfield usage goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm not playing Singletary. I really don't want to play Hopkins or Ridley. I prefer Hopkins to Ridley. Yeah. Ford's solid. He's going to give you a floor. He's basically guaranteed giving you 10 points no matter the game script. It's like locking 10 points is how his games have gone. So yeah. But for me, it's Devonta Smith. Like we'll see how much Goddard's going to be involved. If he runs all of his routes at his normal usage, then yeah, I would be a little bit worried for Devonta Smith. But just because this is his first game back, I'm a little more confident in Devonta Smith, and he's been awesome. Like we've seen how those targets have worked out. Like with Goddard off the field, he's shown he's a stud, and he's kind of what we thought he was, right? So Goddard shakes it up a little bit, but I'm most confident with Devonta Smith, those guys.
Let's hope that's the shootout. Let's hope that game is the shootout we're promised.
I freaking hope so. And then here's another team. They're picking one of flex. It's Ridley, Sutton, Thielen, and Pierce. And when we're getting down to these guys, it's really the top two. As much as I like Thielen, it's going to be Sutton or Ridley for me. And like I'm just going to chase it with Ridley this week. If you want a more safer play, it's Sutton. If you really want the boom shot, like take Ridley. So like that's kind of how I'm breaking these two guys. Do you see it differently at all?
Yeah, I'm chasing it with Sutton, man. It's just the guy can't not score a touchdown. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 touchdowns on the season. He scored 1 touchdown in every game except for 3 games this season. He's only played 12, right? So this guy is has a nose for the end zone. He's being hyper targeted in the red zone. They really don't have the tight end there with Dulcich out and who's it, Troutman, right? Like forget it. It's Sutton in the red zone all day. And against the Chargers, I just think he's going to eat. They haven't played them again. They played them twice, right? Obviously, and then because they're division matchups, and then in week 17. So, like, I want all the Sutton I can get now, and then it'll be a precursor for championship week. I think you can fire him up again there.
Yep, I'm with you. Like that's who I'm rolling with as well. This one's from Mateo. Are we going with Rachaad White or Joe Mixon? I think actually both are good plays, but Rachaad White's basically if you don't count Christian McCaffrey because he's not a human. He's an alien. He's like a different type of life form. Like he's just his own special being. It's Rachaad White is basically the RB1 in fantasy football this past month plus. So like the volume's there, the efficiency's been there. Like I personally am going Rachaad White over Joe Mixon. Are you starting Joe Mixon over Rachaad White?
No, I'll start White. The nice thing about White is he's game script agnostic, so he's gonna be involved in the passing game and receive checkdowns, or he's going to be pounding it up the middle for 3 yards a carry. Mixon had a massive game last week. I just can't trust Jake Browning to create that kind of offense for that club every week. And then just keep in mind, I believe I'll have to double check, but I believe the Colts got a massive D tackle back this week, who's really going to change the dynamic of that run defense in Indy. So I prefer White, although it is close.
Yeah, if you look at the splits between him off the field and on the field, like they're much more efficient against the run. So I'm entirely with you. Like that part goes kind of unnoticed, but if you can notice those things, like that's where you gain the edge, and it just makes Mixon, who's been an inefficient running back, even more inefficient in this game. So yeah. I'm with you. We're going to chase our 0 RB king, Rachaad White.
There you go.
This one's for Bryce. Are you going Dak, who's been just lights out QB1? Yeah, exactly.
No, like, and this was but this was the conversation we had last week. It's not just the fact that it's Dak. It's the fact that he's playing the Philadelphia Eagles. We were talking last week. Do you start Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes? I said yes. That worked out. You're doing it again. Dak is going to be QB1 or 2. Like he hasn't been lower than QB3 really in like 5 of the last 6 weeks. I'm firing up Dak over Mahomes easily.
Yeah, they're top 4 options, so it's like not like I'm down on Mahomes because I expect Mahomes to have a good game, but Philly's pass defense is not good. Like CeeDee Lamb is going to have a day. I think he's my wide receiver 1 for a reason, and Dak's just gonna feast. Like he's been on another level. He's been the MVP as far as I'm concerned. It's gonna continue. Philly's defense just sucks. Like we saw their week 9 matchup, Dak had a very good game. I expect that to continue again. And with Mahomes, like it's just the offense is still struggling. They're trying to figure it out. They haven't gotten there yet. So maybe they figure it out down the stretch. But in this matchup, I'm with you. I'm going with Dak.
Yeah. Play every Cowboy this week. Every Cowboy.
Yeah, all the pass catchers.
Except for the defense. Except for the defense.
Yeah, don't be. That's foolish. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Mike McCarthy's running a better offense than the Chargers are? It's without
crazy.
It's
crazy.
Wild how to be alive. All right, this one's from Sports Spotlight. Start one PPR or starting Aaron Jones, Noah Brown, or Zach Charbonnet.
I mean, is Aaron Jones playing? The problem is, right? Is he Monday night or tonight? He's a Monday night game, right? And Noah Brown has that really tough matchup. This is rough. I'm gonna go Brown. Charbonnet, I just can't trust it with the injury and possibly Drew Lock there in the later game. Noah Brown, I think, is he the early game though? Right? Because this is interesting. This would be early, late, and later, right? So you got to make this decision now. But I'm going Noah Brown, and with Tank Dell out, with Schultz out, and we know Jordan can receive those targets as a tight end. But I'm going to go with Brown and just rely on Stroud and the games Brown has put up earlier this season.
Yeah, if you're able to wait this out with Aaron Jones, you need to have a backup plan because he's questionable and legit. He's been such a bad injury issue, so you need to find another option to play Monday night. So if you can pick up someone else, if you want to go with Jones, go for that and chase that. But for me, Noah Brown's going to get he's going to be involved. We've seen him connected with Stroud, and I get it. The Jets are a terrible matchup for wide receivers. This is really the immovable force meets the force meets the object, right? I know I screwed that saying up, but that's all good. But,
I don't even know. I mean, I know it, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wait, yeah. But something's got to give in this matchup between the two of them. And Stroud's he's been incredible. So I'm still, even though the matchup's not great, I'm still going to count on Noah Brown over Zach Charbonnet. Charbonnet will probably see some third down work and stuff like that, but you just can't count on it. And Aaron Jones, he might not play. So unfortunately, with the game and there's playoffs, all the stuff on the line, I don't want to risk it where I don't have an option. So I'm going to go with you, Noah Brown, on this one. And then in their home league, they're going Javonte or Higgins, and this one seems pretty clearly like Javonte. I don't want to do the T. Higgins experience right now. It's just been bad. And even with Browning looking better, Higgins only saw 3 targets. He's not a focal point of that offense. So until we see it from T. Higgins, personally, I'm just not doing T. Higgins. I'd much rather take Javonte, and I know he's getting work and he's going to be involved. So I'm going with Javonte clearly over Higgins.
Yep. Yeah. On a couple of dynasty contenders, I moved some T. Higgins this week. It felt bad because that value is going to rise, but right now for the end of the season, for that championship push, I can't rely on T. So it's clearly Javonte, and against the Chargers, who are just reeling, he's going to have a better game for sure.
Yep. They said they could start Pollard. Well, it's Shepard. Chuba Hubbard, it's a different story. But yeah, I'm going Javonte over.
Which one is
Chuba.
this?
I'm not doing that. This is the same question. They said they had Pollard, but actually it was Chuba Hubbard as they could start them instead as well. So Javonte, Higgins, or Chuba Hubbard.
I'll start Chuba. I think Javonte's got the better matchup, but I'll go with the volume on Chuba.
Hey, welcome back from the cloud. How you doing, Aaron? Who's alive?
I'm choosing violence today. It's going to be one of those days. I can feel it. Am I frozen already?
No, a little bit.
Kind of. A little bit. Yeah, it's a little hit or miss.
A little bit frozen.
Well,
let's move on. He'll jump in.
Yeah. So we got to sit 2 here.
I'm frozen already?
Puka, yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers, Calvin Ridley, Jaden Reed, Chuba Hubbard, and CEH. Do you have a preference on these guys, Jeremy?
I got to sit Ridley. I got to sit my guy. It hurts, but you just can't do it. He's so boom bust. He shows up. Even he mostly in most of his games he gets consistent looks. He's just for whatever reason not connecting on them a majority of the time. So I'm sitting him. And then out of this group, Reed is nice. He plays the Giants, so I'll sit CEH and I'll go with the receivers and Chuba here. Ridley and CEH, I'm sitting.
Yep, you could do that. If you want to sit Chuba as well as these guys, I'm totally fine with that decision as well. But I like Reed as a matchup. I have a hard time sitting Puka myself. The other guys, it's a lot of good options. There's a few that are in between, but a lot of solid options. All right, this one's from Carter. Cooper Kupp, Zay Flowers, or Ferguson. Is it tight end premium? Because if it's tight end premium, I might have some interest in Ferguson here. But outside of that, the matchup's really good and everything along those lines. It's just I have a hard time starting the tight end Ferguson because the volume's not near what it's going to be for Flowers or Kupp. So I think that's what we're between those 3. Where do you stand on these 3?
I'm starting Ferguson. I'm just firing up every Cowboy, bro. Like Cup, it hurts so bad, right? Like you want to start Cup here. He's just not. He's not the one anymore, and he's still battling through that injury. Zay, I just worry that they're just going to pound the ball. This could actually be a low-scoring game here between the Rams and the Ravens.
Yeah, I think the way the Ravens can win this game is they attack that secondary, who's been a little hit or miss. So I think I prefer Zay over Cup personally. Yeah, but if you want to go Ferguson, like it's an elite offense. Like I got no qualms with that issue. It is weird how we're like so confident with a few of these tight ends nowadays. Where like last year it was like, oh my gosh, these tight ends. Like, fire up all the tight ends.
It's nice. TE golden age, man.
All right. This one's from Kyle Singer. Pick one running back, one wide receiver, one flex. So, I mean, there's 3 out of 4 options, and there's also Gabe Davis on this as well. So we got Alexander Madison, Keaton Mitchell. I'm not sure which Davis this is. Like, I'm blanking on the Davis. I don't know why I'm blanking. Oh, it's Gabe Davis.
Gabe. It's got to be Gabe, right?
Brandon Cooks. So it's basically we're benching one guy here is what it looks like to me because there's only 4 options. So, Kyle, if you want to redo this one and give us more options, otherwise, like, it seems pretty straightforward to me. Like, you're just taking the running back, you're taking the receiver flex. So, like, because, like, if the running back and the wide receiver, there's only, you get between Mitchell or Madison. I'm taking Mitchell. And then, oh, we lost it. And I don't want to go Gabe Davis in this matchup, really. I'd just rather go Brandon Cooks, like we're talking about the Cowboys offense.
Yep.
But
then who are you flexing?
For me, probably Gabe, I guess. What about you?
Yeah, I'm plugging Madison in there. I mean, Gabe, I can't. I get it. If you need the upside, he's got a great matchup playing Kansas City, and he won't see Snead, right? So KC's actually been beatable the last few weeks in the air, but I don't have an issue with Alexander Madison. I get it. Lots of people should and do rightly have issues with Alexander Madison, but he's playing the Raiders. I mean, that's just they continue to be a dumpster fire, and he's going to get the work. So we say chase the volume. They had a weird week against Chicago in Week 12, volume wise, because they had to go to the air. But I'll sit Gabe here. How about you, Aaron?
I don't know. I came in midway, so I didn't chime in because I didn't know where we were at. I'm streaming on my phone because for some reason my desktop is getting shitty Wi-Fi. So
I got you. Well, you are crystal clear, my man.
No, I'm on my phone now. The issue I'm having is, I said I was having issues with my kids' home. It's because I realized when I hooked up the new computer, I forgot to hardwire it. So it's on Wi-Fi. So his Xbox that's hardwired is eating up all my bandwidth. So we are on my phone. That will overrule that. So
gotcha.
Jesse, you're going to have to control the whole stream.
All right. I'll pull this next one up. This one's from Raphael, and it feels pretty straightforward to me. Austin Eckler or Rashad White? I much prefer Rashad White. Is anybody Eckler this week?
No, you can't. Not over White. You can't. I mean, the matchup is nice, but Denver's actually been a little bit stingier against the run, probably because their offense is actually scoring, and so teams have to pass on them a bit more. But you hope that Eckler comes through in this matchup, but that White is going to continue with the volume, and we have all those reports of Staley, who is definitely out the door at the end of this year, trying to save his job and going to start Josh Kelly and hope for some magic. I don't know. Rashad White, for sure.
How terrifying is that, though, that this should be an easy Austin Eckler? That matchup, the fact that he's Eckler, the fact that it's White, but yeah, it's probably White, but it's going to be, I think it could very easily be one of those ones where you start White and Eckler scores 3 touchdowns and you're like, oh, Eckler's good again. Damn it.
Yep. Could be.
I just
don't
know if I can take the risk. Yeah. With the playoffs on the line and stuff for a lot of people, it's so risky.
Yeah, you can't.
Jesse, you were saying you're starting Cook in a spot over Eckler, and I'm doing the same thing. I got to double check.
I did that 10 minutes before we hopped on. I was like, Eckler, all right, sit the bench, my friend. I love you, but not this week. I'm not doing it.
Same. Such a shame, man.
I have a league where I'm pretty stacked, and I have Eckler on the bench, and I looked, and I think I had 4 running backs starting, and I looked, and they were Zach Moss, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get Eckler in somewhere, and I looked and said, no, not him, and then I left Eckler on my bench. I couldn't find a way into the lineup.
That's the
problem. Couldn't do it.
Yep.
Yeah, we got all these 0 RB kings just pushing Eckler aside. Unfortunately, it is what it is. All right, this one's from Tangos. Walker, Addison in full PPR.
I think this one's actually easy, and it's sad to say, but it's got to be Addison, right? Like you can't start Lockett. Even if he plays, it's just he's so boom bust, right? He's a great ceiling play, but you just never know if DK is going to take over. You never know if there's going to be those underneath routes to JSN. It's too much for me. So I'll go with Addison, who will be a lot less paid attention to this week, right? With Jefferson back, and who knows how healthy, right? So it's possible that Addison gets some of those crossers, and so I'll go with him.
Also, one's playing San Francisco, one's playing the Raiders, so
yeah,
that helps.
It does
just a bit, right? Like
Josh Dobbs doesn't help though.
No, we've seen the Josh Dobbs experience. It's a roller coaster. Yeah. If they had a better option instead of Lockett that I was a little more confident in, I think it's a better discussion. But Lockett struggled. Gino might not even play. Like, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going Addison. This is a fun one. So CEH or Keaton Mitchell in full PPR, or also another question is Jordan Addison or Dalton Kincaid in full PPR.
Yeah, I mean, I will definitely go Kincaid over Addison. We just talked up Addison, but Kincaid is getting massive volume, and the Chiefs are going to score on this Bills defense, right? So the Bills are going to have to come back firing. It's possible that Diggs is completely eliminated and doubled, so Kincaid running the seam. He's just looked fantastic. So I'm firing him up for sure. The other one's tougher, but that's more of like a floor ceiling, right? CEH could score 3 touchdowns, as we've been talking about. But it's doubtful that he breaks off, a 100-yard game. Keaton Mitchell could break off a 100-yard run, so I'll probably go Mitchell, but that one's really close.
I don't know, it's close. I have CEH 2 spots higher. I think I'd rather CEH, but it could just as easily be a McKinnon game. Having said that, like Mitchell, it could be a Gus game. It could be a Justice Hill game. It could be a Lamar game. So I think I go CEH. Addison, I think, is my answer on the other side. I get Jefferson's back, and I get Dawson Knox coming back. Shouldn't matter, but you never know if it will. Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel strongly about it. I mean, like Addison and Kincaid are close for me. I think I have Addison, and I think I have CEH slightly higher, but I'm not, definitive about any of it. You could convince me either way.
Yeah. I think like the game script's going to work really well for both Kansas City running backs, but I think it's very much going to split. Like CH is going to do his thing and McKinnon's going to do his thing. So it's going to be really hard to trust either one confidently. So yeah, like I'm fine throwing Keaton Mitchell, just taking the Hail Mary and you shoot for that 20 points with him. I'm with you guys. Like,
how about that? Me and Jeremy agreeing.
Look at this.
You think I was thinking about the other day. You think me and you disagree and argue on the show all the time? Tune in to what was it, Friday nights FFAN for the forum. Yeah. You should have heard me and Jack go at it for an hour and 15 minutes, disagreeing on everything, like loudly.
Amazing.
Okay, I gotta grab something from my daughter. I'm gonna pull up the next question and let you guys take it. I'll be back in a second.
Cool. I mean, Aaron, this is pretty easy, no?
CJ.
Yeah,
not even close.
By far.
I have Trevor Lawrence as like QB 22. I don't even know if he'll finish the game.
That's the problem, right? Is like not only is Trevor Lawrence hurt, not only was he a game time decision, and we all saw, or if you didn't see, go have a look. Like it was kind of a brutal little. What was he? He stepped on by his offensive lineman, I believe, in his last game.
Yeah.
So that high ankle sprain is like a cleating, and like he's gonna be in pain. Right. Meanwhile, he's also playing the Cleveland Browns. Like you didn't want any part of Trevor to begin with, let alone in this, the fact that he's hurt. Right.
We don't even know. This could be posturing. This could just be a competitive advantage, and it's CJ Beathard after one snap. No. I have CJ Stroud he's lower this week because it's the Jets. But I have him at 12. I feel like that's low. I'm going to move him up. I have him at 12. He's being moved up. But still, so he's a top 12 quarterback against Trevor Lawrence, who I have at 22. So no.
Well, this is a question. Yeah. Is it possible that this is not Stroud and it's Beathard?
No.
Oh, you mean like Bedford Place?
Yeah.
No, it's not. The answer is CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think we're overthinking this one a little bit. I think it's no matter what you want to do here, like just don't take the risk with Trevor. Like just go CJ Stroud. I get it, matchup sucks, but like CJ Stroud's been awesome.
What are your other options?
No, but let's talk about this for a second, though. I totally agree. What are your other options? And it definitely matters.
But you're playing him this week.
Taysom Hill is out. Rashid Shaheed is out, right? Derek Carr is in somehow, right? So, like, who else is there? Like, A.T. Perry is not commanding 15 targets. It's not going to happen. You know, I'm firing up Olave. He's got a safe floor for me this week.
The odds of there being someone better than Olave on the waiver wire or on your bench are slim, especially in this situation. I don't know where I have him, but I guarantee you he's at least a wide receiver too. Yeah, you're playing Olave.
Yeah, I have Olave very high. Let me see. Yeah, he's my 24 flex option. So basically, he's definitely a wide receiver one for me this week. Yeah. I'm very much with you.
Madison.
Yeah, it's just safer. Like, it's a good matchup too, right? Like, they're playing the Raiders. Like, I think it's just you just take the volume and hope it works out.
This is closer than it should be, though, I think. But I will go Madison as well.
I have them at 23 and 25, but we don't. Yeah. I have Madison at 23, CEH at 25. That could just as easily be Jerick McKinnon at 25. We don't know. We know nothing about this situation. The Chiefs seem to trust McKinnon late in the season.
Yep.
They invested heavily in Hilaire with a first-round pick, so it should be him, but we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Take Madison, and I'm low on Madison all the time, every week. So.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's a big fan of Madison here, but I think we're all taking him in this option.
I'm a moderate fan of Madison, but less so than I was at the beginning of the year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. You can't dispute it. The problem is Gabe Davis doesn't show up all the time, right? Like, if Gabe Davis were Brandon Cooks, we'd be having a different conversation here. But Gabe Davis continues to be throwing up donuts every third week, right? Like, you just can't trust him. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen. You know, it could be the case since Drew Tranquil's out and they're really hurting at linebacker and they're starting Cochran, right, the Chiefs. And I think relying on Leo Chenal as well, both young backers. It could be the case that, you know, Singletary and Latavius Murray just get a ton of run and they just pound the middle, right? Or they look for those check down options. Maybe Knox comes back and gets like, you know, 3 yards per target and 10 targets, you know, right over the middle where those guys are. So you just don't know. Yeah. So I can't trust Gabe.
Yeah, I'm with you. It very much seems like that's why it's going to be Kincaid week and also why it's going to be a James Cook week. Like, their defense is getting gashed on the run, like 4.8 yards per carry. Like, that's per attempt. And Cook's one of the most efficient running backs, like per rush, like a basis. So he's going to get his work. Kincaid, like we see now, he's been involved. It's really hard to put the genie back in the bottle, as they say, with Dalton Kincaid, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's just hard for Gabe Davis, man. Like, he's just shown who he is over the course of his career. He's boom bust. And the matchup, I get it. It's still just not the best matchup in the world. Like, the Chiefs' defense is still good defense. So, personally, I would just avoid it.
Walker.
Yeah. So they reported about this. They both these guys were full participant in practice on Friday. So I'm treating them personally as Walker's the 1A, Charbonnet's the 1B. I just hate this matchup for both guys. I still you just know Walker's gonna get more volume than Charbonnet. Like, that's, you know, this is gonna work out. So
yeah,
I get it. But personally, I'm going Walker over Charbonnet.
Same.
You guys see that differently at all?
No.
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah. It's safety with CJ.
By far. Yeah, agree.
I think I go Dobbs here because Watson's out. I think Dobbs has more ceiling. I think he's a little riskier, but I think I go Dobbs.
Yeah. I think depends exactly what you're talking about. I think it depends what you're looking for, right? Like, if you want the safety, like, you can take Javonte, but if you want a ceiling case, like, Dobbs looks like the play, and I'd just roll with it. He's been pretty good this year, so, like, I'm fine with that.
I probably go Javonte, but it's super close. You know, Wicks is going to be a thing, as we've seen in the past. You know, they're playing the Giants, so who knows? Maybe it's an AJ Dillon game because the Giants are so bad and they're going to get turned over. Tommy DeVito is going to get sacked 12 times and throw 15 interceptions. I mean, I just think it's going to be a really ugly offensive game for the Giants, and they're not going to need the Packers aren't going to need this crazy game from Jordan Love like he's been putting up. So I'll go with the safety of Javonte here over even still the multitude of weapons in Green Bay. And, who knows? Maybe A.J. Dillon finds the end zone for the second time this season.
I don't want to bet on it.
No, I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Higgins or Garrett Wilson?
Wilson, I'm not doing Higgins.
No, you can't go
shot.
Higgins.
I can't. I can't do it.
We were talking earlier. I don't even care. I don't even care that it's Stingley and the Houston secondary, right? Like, I don't care that it's Zach Wilson. Like T. Higgins, you just can't. Maybe he blows up, maybe, but there's only room for one person to blow up, and it could be just as much be Jamar Chase or Tanner Hudson to blow up in that passing game than T. Higgins. So I just can't trust it.
Yeah.
PPR league, pick one: Brandon Cooks, Jaden Reed, Keaton Mitchell. Jaden Reed pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm taking Reed. I'm personally taking Reed.
No, I'm going Brandon Cooks, man. I will start every wide receiver in a game against Philadelphia. I do not care. Brandon Cooks could have CD Lamb stats this week. I'm going Cooks.
CEH, pick one, half PPR. CEH, Mitchell, JSN, Khalil Shakir.
Half PPR?
Yep.
Probably Mitchell.
Yep.
Let's see.
I think it's JSN for me.
Ooh.
Well, it depends, right? It depends if Locke starts or not.
Big cock block, baby.
I don't think he is. Is he?
It's like
we
don't know.
It's a lock blocking JSN.
We just don't. So we don't know like when they're gonna release the injury report if Geno's playing. It's going like up until it, so like it's real risky. But if Locke plays, man,
are they 4 o'clock or night game?
They're 4 o'clock. 4.
Yeah, they're the later window. Let me see. Are they? Yeah, they're the later window. Yeah, I've seen Drew Lock enough. Like, I really don't want any pass catchers attached to Drew Lock. It's a nightmare. The one thing you can count on is a turnover. So bet the interception if Drew Lock's playing because he's going to turn the ball over at Lock.
Here's the real question, right? Because we're talking a lot about Keaton Mitchell here, and we're playing him over CEH. And like, what are we expecting from Keaton Mitchell this week? Just in terms of volume, right? We know Gus is there. We saw Mitchell kind of eat a lot between the 20s. The last time we saw the Ravens play 2 weeks ago, but what are we realistically expecting from Mitchell here?
So like he's in a yeah, you can go
a third. So 10 touches is it going to be a good game for Mitchell?
10 to 12, yeah.
In that range.
I'd be ecstatic if he got to 15. I'd be disappointed if he got 8. 10 to 12, I think.
This is the thing with those guys where like CEH is going to see a part-time role. Like he's not going to get all the work. Like at least I don't believe he's going to get all the work. If you believe he's going to get all the work, play him. But for me, it's like I'm betting on the explosive running back on a limited basis as opposed to CEH, who's just not that guy, right? So he needs more volume. So for me, I'm just going to take the chance that like Keaton Mitchell breaks one because like he has that skill set and talent where he only needs a handful of touches. Like that's the thing with him. So if I'm doing 2 guys where I expect them to have similar touch basis, if one of them's the explosive player who can hit a ceiling play, like I'll just go with that and shoot for the shot that way. So they're pretty close though. Like I don't mind.
His touches are 10, 4, 9, 11. So I would say 10 is a safe bet.
Yeah. We got a really good one in the chat. That is, this one is tough. I mean, I love Fields' matchup. I think he's going to absolutely go off.
Yeah.
But I can't play him over Lamar this week. I can't do it.
Even though he's going to add in 60 to 80 rushing yards, it's still Lamar.
So like for me, it's Fields. There's also a lot of bad weather in that game. So like I think it's going to be even heavier on Fields to like rush and just like I think it really sets up well for him. And as much as I like Lamar, he's been disappointing this year. So like it should be Lamar, but it's like he hasn't hit the ceiling in a while. So we know Fields is going to get probably 15 rush attempts in this game. So I'm going to chase that with him and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But they're back to back in rankings, so it's like it's not an option either way.
Go with the gut. Go with the gut.
Yeah. Olave for me. What about you guys?
Henry.
Yeah, like how do they not give Derrick Henry 25 carries in this game? I don't understand. Like I understand they're going to be down, but they're not going to be down. They literally can't be down that much in the beginning of the first quarter. They're still going to be 0-0, 7-0. So. Like they should be feeding Derrick Henry in this game. I'm not super scared of the Miami run D. More scared, I guess, of the Tennessee offensive line. But it's so close. But I'm gonna fire up Henry in a week where I need my stud running back to go off.
He's had 20 touches in back-to-back games. Yeah, I have Henry three spots higher for Henry. That's where I'm going.
It's Henry season, man. It's winter. Winter has come.
If they weren't playing Miami, I'd have more confidence in Henry, but like they could get blown out in this game, and that's my main concern with Henry. Like the floor disappears. But Henry's he's
totally get it.
I want to sit ETN, as scary as it is. He's been nursing an injury. His quarterback's all messed up. I don't want any part of that. I want to sit I'm going to play the other three.
It's a pretty easy one, actually. Sad to say.
Those three are like must start running backs too. Mm-hmm. Like I want all those guys in my lineups. Like they're
that's what makes it easy. It's not it's not like you're giving up something to bench ETN. They're all in the same zone or like same range. So just bench the guy who's hurt with an injured quarterback.
What do we think? What do we think Moss is going to do this week? RB 6
Smash.
Overall?
Yeah, I got him at RB4. I have him at RB4.
Crushing.
I have him with 22 touches and basically 100 yards and basically a touchdown is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, fire him up. Don't be afraid of last week last week's game. He's gonna smash.
Where do you think I have Moss? What do you have him?
I have him at RB4.
Oh, you're low.
What do you have at 1? No, you have 2. Probably 2, right? 3. Oh, split the difference. I was like, nope, you can't go OCMC.
So give us AK and Kyron real quick. Where are they all for you guys this week?
Kamara's 2. Yeah.
Where do you have Kyron?
6, I think. I'm having internet issues. Kyron is Kyron's 9 for me, but that's gonna move up. Kyron's 8 for me.
Yeah, it's the matchup, right? You're just concerned about Baltimore, kind of limiting him, but they've been using him like crazy. So ETN's the easy bench for sure.
He's a true bell cow. It's wild.
Yeah.
Achan.
Yep. I love Monty, and you got to go Achan here. You have to.
He's just too good.
What are your thoughts on Achan, or what are your thoughts on Montgomery versus Jacobs? That's closer to me than Montgomery versus Achan. I think I still go Jacobs, but it's close.
I'm probably just going to take Monty personally. Like that, Jacobs is getting the volume, but like it's just some of these games they're not passing to him. Like that's what worries me. So it's kind of similar. And I'll take the guy going against Chicago's defense.
Yeah, but here's the real issue, right? The real issue is the Chicago defense has been better over the last month since they acquired Sweat. He's just been they're able to focus less on rushing the passer because he's getting home and creating that chaos. And they've just been better all around. So in this matchup where they're facing a reeling Detroit offense, I think this game is going to be really close. I'm fading Monty a lot this week, and I love him generally.
I think it's close.
I don't know if I'm fading him over Jacobs. It's so close.
No, my point was I think Achan's the one you have to start out of the 3. Jacobs and Montgomery are close for me, but I'm going Achan and Jacobs and sitting Monty.
I would probably.
Well, they also said they're worried about ETN, and I'd honestly probably play ETN over Monty. Like they're back to back.
ETN's my lowest out of the 4. I'd start any of those 3 over ETN. ETN I have at 17.
Okay, yeah, I have him at 12. They're all kind of jumbled together. It's just
I'm gonna go Jacobs.
If you think he's not gonna, Jacobs is 11, I think. Let me see. The main concern with ETN's the injury. So if he's not injured, I would play him over those guys. But it's a Cleveland matchup. It is what it is. So if you want to roll the other ones, I'm fine with it.
Russ.
I don't. Are they just gonna run all shotgun plays with Lawrence? He's not gonna be able to move, right?
Is he gonna be out of shotgun the whole time? Shotgun the whole day?
It's gonna happen.
Right? He can't move on that ankle, can he?
Yeah. No, I know.
Unless he did some voodoo magic.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
ETN running Wildcat. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is the first CJ Stroud question that's been close for me. I think I go Herbert here by 1 spot. Having said that, it takes me a year to get my rankings to load, but I think I go Herbert by 1 spot because of the weather and the better matchup. He gets Denver. Herbert by 2 spots, actually. So, Herbert.
Yeah, I've heard Herbert as well.
It's really so hard to bench Stroud right now. But Tank's out. You got Jordan in there instead of Schultz. Mm-hmm. They're facing a team that is great against the pass. and that also sucks. So they may go up early and just run it out with the 2 nuts. So I agree. You go Herbert here, but you don't like it.
Yeah, with you.
Chase and Pittman.
Oh my gosh,
Pittman's a must start. I might go Waddle.
No, Chase 6.
Waddle, Pittman.
Chase 6, Pittman 7, Waddle 12 for me. Nico Collins down at 23. So
yeah, I get the Collins fade with the Sauce coverage. Who's Cincy playing again?
They are playing. What can I find? Indy.
They're playing each other.
I'm going Pittman Waddle. I'm not gonna. Chase is great, but I'm just not trusting what I saw with Brown. He's going to be targeted, but that Indy D, especially that pass coverage, has been much better over the last month and a half here. So I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to fire Waddle up over Chase.
Yeah, I have the first 2, Chase and Pittman, but it's real close between those guys.
Yeah, you got to start picking regardless.
Kamara, Kyron, Achane. I'm sitting Barkley and Walker.
Yep.
Anybody disagree?
Pretty easy, that one.
Kamara, Kyron, Achane?
No, that's straightforward.
That's pretty easy.
This one's pretty easy too. I like Love, but I want Fields this week.
100%.
Yeah.
The Browns get Jacksonville. Dallas gets what? Philly.
Yeah.
Going Browns D pretty easily
Browns.
there.
I'm not playing Cowboy defense against Philly. Like, I'm not running.
Browns at 9. I have Dallas at 20. So yeah, believe when it is.
Yep.
And I normally have Dallas as 1, 2, or 3. So yeah, Cleveland.
Right.
Especially with how mangled Trevor Lawrence is. Yeah. He's a sitting duck back there for Myles Garrett, man. Garrett gonna have 10 sacks today. What's the NFL record? It's about to be Myles Garrett's. It is. I'm not joking.
Garrett's back, right? He was out the previous game, but he's good to go.
I think so, as far as I know.
Yeah, like they haven't said he's missing the game, so like I'm assuming whatever's going on the shoulder, I guess it's not too bad. Or they just injected the hell out of him with drugs.
Now I totally agree with this, but here's my issue, and I said it a few minutes ago, is that Tommy DeVito is going to get absolutely swallowed up by this Green Bay defense. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to get sacked. His sack per dropback is, if it's not the worst in the league, it's right up there. And he's not going to get anything done with this pretty good Green Bay secondary. This could be a weird AJ Dillon game. As much as Love can torch the Giants, I don't think he's going to have to. So that's why I want Fields.
I'm trying to get it to load, but as usual, my system's not working here. Oh, there we go. Last time they faced each other, Justin Fields ran 18 attempts for 104 yards. That's why you're starting.
That's what I'm saying. You want Fields.
Like, I get it. Yards on 18 attempps. That's running.
He's going to crush this Lions D, right? Like you're shadowing him with Alex Anzalone? No.
I think Anzalone's hurt. Isn't he
out?
It could be even worse. I don't even know who the backup is.
Yeah. Fields, it's going to be a Fields game. Like, we're fired up Fields.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got a couple more minutes if there's any other questions trickling in here.
Here's a quick question from that same game. Do we trust Roschon? Do we think Foreman's going to eat in now that he's back? Is Khalil involved? Is it a 3-way? Like, what's happening here?
I prefer Roschon.
Yeah, I agree. But do you think it's a committee as well? Yeah.
I know. Okay, so what are the Bears record wise? I don't have it up. They're bad, right? It's like 3 wins.
Yeah, not good. Not
3 wins. I think it's a committee leaning 65 to 70% Roschon because they have to see what they have next year.
Should be. I agree.
Well, we saw how it went. He had 70% of like the snaps. He was very much the guy before the bye, so I expect that to continue for him. I expect him to be the guy in the offense.
I think the one who's going to be phased out completely is Foreman, but this one's Devonta Smith, right?
Yeah, Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be, but that's
don't worry about Goddard
for me.
Smith has been good lately.
Don't worry about Goddard.
That's been good lately.
Yeah, but Goddard's back, right? So
that's my concern because Goddard's back. It's going to be real close for those two for me. But yeah, I'll go Smith. It's fine.
Sit Cooper.
Yeah, sit Amari. Yep.
Sure.
Yep, that's easy.
This one's tough. I think I have Stafford Lawrence. One spot ahead.
I'm going Trevor. I'm just gonna trust the fact that he's playing. Okay, Stafford against Baltimore. Like I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for both.
I have to do it. I have to do it with Stafford over Ritter in a league, and I want to start Ritter. So, but I'm starting Stafford.
You got to play Stafford. It's just it's rough.
I have Stafford one spot higher.
You could start Stafford here. You could. He's got the weapons. He's got the health. But
he's a Rams fan too. Let him start his guy.
There you go. Pollard.
Ooh.
Fire him up.
No, I don't think so. The Eagles can stop the run, man.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Pollard running. Pollard's gonna, if they're stopping the run, Pollard's just gonna be out there collecting those checkdowns. Like, I'm not worried about this at all. Stay in the flames. He's gonna get the volume. Go with Pollard.
I don't have this debate because I sold high on Pollard last week in all my leagues. I think it's Olave for me.
Yeah, I have Pollard higher projection wise, but really want to play Olave over him this week. So I'll probably just play Olave even though the process is Pollard. I'm like, ooh, Olave. But they're back to back basically.
Yeah, I think he's getting the work in the passing game, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, I think he'll score a touchdown. Like I'm not worried about this week.
Yeah.
Got about a minute here, a little less if anyone gets last minute questions.
Oh man, here we go. This is the week, guys. Good luck to everybody in your matchups,
playoffs,
man.
Baby.
Like squeak into those playoffs and win those championships. That's what it's all about.
All right, guys. I guess that is going to be a wrap. There we go.
Here we go. Last one.
I see it.
Adams.
Who do the Raiders got?
I love Olave.
Who do the Raiders have? Raiders have Minnesota.
Minnesota.
It's Adams.
It's Adams. It's just volume. I think Olave is a great game. Don't get me wrong, but it's Adams.
It's Adams.
And half PPR, it's Adams. I'm just going Adams. Screw it.
All right. Well, I'm sure your lineups are about to lock, so catch us later tonight at 8 o'clock. We will be doing a live recap. Good luck, everyone. Hopefully you get that W this week and make the playoffs. Take care, everyone. Have a great day and good luck.